Good morning. This is Kettleland on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
Sioux Falls police are searching for the people who robbed a home with a machete and a gun. The incident happened Sunday afternoon on the west side of the city. Police say two men were in a home when there was a knock at the door.
Authorities say when one of the victims opened the door, a suspect immediately punched him. Investigators say the three suspects punched the victims and cut one of them with the machete. Police say the suspects left with cash, a wallet, and a truck. The victims told officers they don't know why they were targeted.
Meanwhile, an arrest has been made after a man allegedly fired several shots outside a laundromat in Sioux Falls. Police say that around 9 o'clock Saturday evening, there was an altercation outside the laundromat on 14th and Minnesota.
Witnesses claim hearing multiple gunshots. 28-year-old Tyrone Lee Appleton was arrested for aggravated assault and reckless discharge of a firearm. There were no injuries or reports of damage. One person was taken to the hospital after being bitten by a dog on the Rosebud Reservation. Officials say the attack happened in Swift Bear housing. Rosebud police responded to the scene and were unable to find the dog.
There have been several recent reports of people being bitten in the Swift Bear community. As a result, any dogs found running at large in state jurisdiction will be killed. Officials say that if you let your dog outside, make sure they're fenced in or on a leash and under control.
Now let's send it over to meteorologist Scott Munt for a check of our morning forecast. Good morning, Scott.
All right, good morning, everybody. Warm day, sunny, temperatures in the 30s across eastern South Dakota. Looks like we'll have 40 and 50-degree weather in central and western Kettleland. We are going for a high of 37 in Sioux Falls, Yankton, Mitchell, and Huron. 39 in Aberdeen, 50 in Pierre, and 52 in Rapid City. Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. There was emotional testimony Monday in Pierre from landowners who are fighting against proposed CO2 pipelines.
The House State Affairs Committee passed two bills that give landowners more rights when it comes to eminent domain.
Now, our family is faced again with another pipeline. How many pipelines will we have to endure on the ground that we have worked so hard to make a living?
Both bills now go on to the full House. You can read up more on the two bills and how they give landowners more rights on our Capitol News Bureau page. The Super Bowl is less than a week away. Who do you think will win, the Philadelphia Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs? Some people are willing to bet money on the outcome, but as we found out, the betting on the Super Bowl is more than just who will win.
At Grand Falls Casino, where sports betting is legal, a lot of people will make what are called proposition bets or prop bets. For instance, which team will score first? Who will win the coin toss? Or will someone kick a field goal over 50 yards? Managers at the Sports Betting Lounge expect a big crowd this weekend.
We actually had online sales for seats, so people could make sure they get a seat or a table when they come in. Otherwise, it's going to be standing room.
You can also place a wager at any of the South Dakota tribal casinos that offer on-site sports betting. We're a month away from college basketball fans making their way to the Premier Center for the Summit League basketball tournament.
The tournament will look a little different this year. Rather than an 8-team format as we've seen in the past, all 10 teams in the Summit League will be competing. They've even added an additional day.
That just means their experience of the Summit League tournament gets to start a little bit earlier on Friday than it has in years past. And knowing the fan base and the markets around here that love the sport of basketball, I think it'll be a great experience for them.
The tournament will get started on Friday, March 3rd, and conclude with the championships on Tuesday, March 7th. The calendar says February, but Sioux Falls Parks and Recreation already has its sights set on summer.
Program coordinator Jean Pearson is currently hiring lifeguards for the outdoor season. She says there's an increased desire to become a lifeguard following multiple pay raises over the past year.
With the big increase that we got last summer, we not only attracted a bunch of former employees, but we recruited a lot of brand new employees, and those employees are now coming back. So our retention from last year to this year is much higher than it was last year at this time.
Starting wage for a lifeguard in Sioux Falls is now $16.50 per hour. If you're interested in applying for a job as a lifeguard with Sioux Falls Parks and Rec, we provided a link under this story at KELLOLAND.com.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather today looking pretty good. Fair skies, some sunshine, and temperatures at or above average for the whole region. We're looking at 50 today in Pierre. Hourly number at 12 o'clock is already 46. Aberdeen, watching that mercury too, could get to 40. We'll be awfully close. Sioux Falls, we're hoping for 37 for a high. And again, as we've been outperforming some of the data the last couple of days, this should be a nice weather day overall. I think most of you will enjoy it. Tonight, be aware of some patchy fog that could develop in the southeast due to some melting snow. Put some moisture back in the lower atmosphere and light winds coupled with that. Tomorrow, well, we're on board here for winds picking up late in the day, rapid. There could be some snow touching the Black Hills too. The biggest thing to watch into Thursday is the push of wind. And there is the chance of some nuisance snows developing Thursday. So let's look at these wind speeds. I'm not really too concerned about that today or most of tomorrow. But Wednesday night, look at the Black Hills. See that? Starts to really ramp up. We're probably talking gusts 40 to 50 pretty easily. Sioux Falls will start to catch up Thursday afternoon, and those winds by late in the day could easily get to 50. And that's the next problem, because if there's some snow falling at that time, could be blowing sideways. And we'll keep an eye on that and what that actually is going to amount to as far as any weather headlines are concerned. Okay, next thing up for business here. The pattern still is active to the south. Another one of these lows going through Oklahoma. You know, these things are starting to make a dent on the drought monitor to the south. I think this is kind of fitting into our early spring outlook as things are trucking into the Great Lakes there by Thursday. We're just breaking off this northwest piece. It's not a lot of moisture, but it is that wind I just talked about and that little hit of snow. That should be temporary. Friday is going to be one day of colder weather. Then we recycle back to this ridging pattern. That's your nice 7-day forecast. Saturday, Sunday, maybe we keep the momentum going all the way through Valentine's Day. After that, the jury's out. We've got more systems beginning to come in. This first one, a lot of questions on this as far as is it going to track far enough to the north to give us some precipitation just outside the 7-day. What's more interesting is the big troughing going on in the Rockies. Eventually, something is going to give. Temperatures are beginning to shift. The pattern is beginning to flip. And we will begin another stretch of winter weather. What that all looks like, many of you are curious. We'll keep you posted as we get pieces of information that we think are relevant to the pattern. We will be sharing that throughout our programs here in the coming days. We'll finish up with your 7-day forecast. Most of this block of time is pretty good. You know, we've got that bump in the road Thursday, the wind, the shifting to some colder weather Friday for a day, and we really can't call 24 all that bad, but 30s beyond that Saturday, Sunday. Monday, I still feel pretty confident that stretch of weather looks dry. Aberdeen could get touched by some of that snow chance on Thursday. Keep in mind that Pierre and Rapid, boy, some nice weather. Look at 50 on Saturday again. And if that wasn't warm enough, Rapid City could hit 55 to start the weekend. Check out more details with the weather online at KETHLELAND.com.